Hey birdwatchers. Today we're visiting my favourite birdwatching location on the Gold Coast, the Hinterland Regional Park. This place has had over 200 bird species reported in the last few years, so let's see what we can find. Let's begin. The entrance to Hinterland Regional Park is off Hardins Road, Mudgeeraba. It's a 10-minute drive from Robina train station, or an hour from Brisbane. It's got a mixture of habitat types, so we're going to have plenty to see. Wait a minute, I see an odd-looking shape in these large trees. Let's see what it is. Nice, it's a tawny frogmouth. Their exceptional camouflage allows them to blend in so well that they often look like part of the tree. This species is often mistaken as an owl, but tawny frogmouths have followed a distinct evolutionary path and have also mastered the art of nocturnal hunting. Unlike the owls that have sharp beaks and talons, tawnies have a frog-like beak adapted for catching insects. Near the base of this tree, we have a yellow-faced honeyeater. This species of honeyeater is a bit quirky. Only 40% of their diet is from nectar. The other 60% is from insects. We have a few similar-looking honeyeaters. This one's distinguished by the yellow that runs across the face and behind the eye. The tracks we'll be taking today are gravel with some grassy areas. It's pretty flat throughout. We'll be doing the basic return circuit, which takes about a couple of hours at a birdwatching pace. There are plenty of extra side tracks for you to explore. You could easily spend a whole morning here. Oh, I almost stepped on this one. I thought this Australian magpie was dead for a second. It's fine though. It's sunbathing. They'll fluff up their feathers to let the sunlight down to their skin. They usually do this to kill parasites and mites. As a kid, I used to think that these birds were the young form of the Australian magpie. The pied butcherbird is definitely a different species though. Unlike magpies, butcherbirds have a stooped posture with a hook tip on their bill. It looks like this one's caught breakfast. Think how fast the butcherbird must be to be able to catch a cockroach. Take a look at this lush greenery. It's hard to believe that most of the vegetation in this reserve was wiped out for timber and cattle grazing when the area was first settled back in 1869. The wildlife around here soon fled due to habitat destruction. Before the turn of the millennium, the council acquired the land, and in 1999, the first bush care group started working on restoring the vegetation to help bring back the life here. It's amazing to see how much it's transformed, and the birds seem to be loving it. Here's the colourful and loud rainbow lorikeet. They're commonly found around every Australian capital city, but they're not found in the dry interior and in Tasmania. They will aggressively defend their feeding and nesting sites by chasing off not only the smaller birds, but the larger ones too. This one looks pretty innocent though. Over here we have the grey fantail. It's a hyperactive bird, usually seen flitting back and forth trying to catch insects. Let's continue on. Straight ahead is the fenced dog play area. To the right is the car park and the picnic ground where we began. We're going to continue to the left. That bird calling is the male Pacific coel. They'll typically call between September and February. Up that driveway is a private property. There's a small track to the left that runs along a reed bed. It often has a few good birds around there. Off in the distance, we have the gate to the cattle area. But first, can you hear that persistent bird call in? Let's try and find it. It's the brush cuckoo. They've had a recent name change, and Sahul has been added to the front. This differentiates them from the now new species of brush cuckoo found in Indonesia and New Guinea. Down below, we've got the spangled drongo. Its forked tail and acrobatic flight make it a marvel to watch as it effortlessly swoops through the air. This species mimics the calls of other birds, such as the brown goshawk. The drongo's ability to do this tricks potential predators and competition, thereby enhancing their own survival. Let's check out this grassy area. This place is a real hot spot for many different birds. It's one of the few places on the Gold Coast where you can often see the introduced nutmeg finch. Gee, everyone's sunbathing today, including this laughing kookaburra. I think because last week has been nothing but rain, so the birds are welcoming back the sun. In addition to removing mites, birds require direct UV contact to synthesize vitamin D, like us. This keeps their feathers, beak, and bones healthy. What was that? I don't think it's coming back. The grass has grown a bit wild here. Anyway, let's scan across this field. I haven't seen this species here before. It's the white-necked heron. It's one of those bird names that actually makes sense. Much better than our confusing egret names. Anyway, during the breeding season, this species will develop a striking maroon-coloured plumage on and around their belly, just like this one. Next, we have the straw-necked ibis. It's busy digging through the soil to find grubs. The term straw-necked refers to the straw-like spiny feathers down the front of their neck, though it's a bit hard to see from this angle. This loud bunch don't need an introduction. Sulphur-crested cockatoos are playful and intelligent. They typically live for 60 years in the wild and up to 100 years in captivity. Hockeys primarily eat seeds, nuts, fruits, and berries. They also enjoy munching on roots, leaves, and insects. It looks like right now these are eating dried up thistle buds. This farmland in front of us is currently used by private tenants for cattle grazing. In 1987, a developer purchased this and the reserve we're standing on now, with intentions to build a large resort with over 100 apartments. However, opposition from locals and environmentalists resulted in the rejection of the rezoning request, which left the property in a state of limbo. I'll continue this a bit later. I can hear several birds giving off their alert calls. Dark-coloured plumage and a diamond-shaped tail means this is a wedge-tailed eagle. Their eyes can scan the ground below, enabling them to seek out prey with incredible precision. The area we're about to enter has free-roaming cattle. As part of the council's land acquisition agreement, the private tenants can still use this area for cattle grazing, under the condition that the public are still able to access this area. It looks like surf's up. Here's a cattle egret in non-breeding plumage. Their plumage will turn orange during the breeding season, which is 6 to 8 months per year. Cattle egrets also go through a phase called a breeding flush. For a short period, usually a week, their bills, eyes, and legs go red. This power-up plumage signals to potential mates that the egret is in good health and ready to go. Over here, we've got some Australian white ibis. Like the straw-necked, as they probe the ground for insects, they improve soil quality by aerating the soil and bring in plant-loving nutrients to the surface. Similar to the cattle egret, the willy wagtail not only likes insects kicked up by the cows, it also snacks on the fleas and ticks on the cows. This symbiotic relationship benefits both animals. The willy wagtail enjoys a plentiful supply of insects, while the cow remains pest-free and healthy. Let's continue along. Keep a lookout for a faint path to the left. This will take you to the secret lagoon. The cows in this area generally keep to themselves, but they may become agitated if you get too close to them when they have young. Be sure to give them some space and you'll be fine. And don't forget to shut the gate when you're entering and leaving the area. Okay, we're here. This lagoon often has more water birds. I think the wedge-tailed eagle earlier might have scared them off. There's some squawking birds up this tree. This is interesting. The bird on the left looks like a little corella, but the one on the right has markings of a long-billed corella, but its bill isn't right. So it's looking like this is a little cross long-billed hybrid. This combo appears to be becoming more common. These look like welcome swallows, but they're actually tree martins. Welcome swallows have an orange chest and throat, whereas in the tree martins, these are white and streaked. Also, in flight, the swallow's tail is forked, whereas in the martins, it's rounded. So why are they hanging out here? Most swallows and martins use mud to build their nest. Tree martins use tree hollows. Let's head back to the main path. Be sure to check out these power towers and power lines, as they often have birds of prey. I just saw a small dot fly from the power lines to one of these large trees in the back. This is an Australian hobby. Hobbies are often confused with their peregrine falcon. The peregrine is much larger though. They have a wingspan of 1.2 meters, whereas the hobby is almost half of that. Hobbies like to eat various small or medium birds, including European starlings, house sparrows, rosellas, and silver eyes. This section has similar birds to the area in front of the first gate. And let me just pass through this gate. And we have some birds waiting for us on the fence. Next, we've got the red-browed finch. They're native to eastern Australia and can often be found in large flocks, flitting around gardens, bushland, and forests. Here's a bird you've probably heard before. It's the golden-headed cisticola. Listen to the call. Doesn't it sound like a kiss? Pew! From now on, you're going to be able to easily identify this species by ear by thinking the name golden-headed kisticula. If you follow this track to the left, you can see some rainforest birds like spectacled monarch and eastern whipbird. You can explore that on your own though. For now, we're going to head to the right. Uh-oh. Because of all that recent rain that I mentioned, this part of the track has been flooded. Excuse me a moment while I take a detour. I'm really glad I wore gaiters today. Gaiters are material that you wear around your legs to help protect you from grazers and snake bites. Okay, we made it. And we've got some birds waiting for us over here. On the left, we have the red-backed fairy wren. It's a male in breeding plumage. That brown-coloured one in the middle is the female superb. And the one on the right is the superb male in breeding. The superb fairy wren is more commonly found in dense undergrowth and forests, whereas redbacks are often seen in open woodlands and grasslands. Here their habitats converge, so we can see them both together. Okay, now keep following this track for about 10 minutes. Don't worry if you don't remember all these directions. I've included a map in the video description, so you don't get lost. That bird you can hear calling is the varied triller. And we've got some birds trying to hide away from us here. Here we have the silvereye. The silvereye is closely related to a group of birds called the white-eyes. There are just over 120 different species of white-eye across the world. Australia has 4 of them, but they're mostly tucked away on our nearby islands. Here's the olive-backed oriole. They're often confused with the female Australasian figbird. But orioles have a pink bill, and they're lacking that red or grey eye ring that the figbirds have. Let's head up over the ridge. It's always a good idea to check out this ancient fig tree. There's always different birds around it. Here we go. This is the rufous shrike thrush, pulling up the bark to reveal any hidden bugs. This species was previously known as the little shrike thrush. Remember the yellow-faced honeyeater we saw earlier? Well, this isn't one of them. It's a Lewin's honeyeater. They don't have yellow across the eyes and face. They just have a yellow cheek patch. Lewins are normally very active. This one is rather calm. I think maybe it's a young one. Okay, now let's head to the swamp and the rainforest sections. Can you hear those harsh grating squawks? I'm pretty sure I know who's making those calls. It's a pair of glossy black cockatoos. This species is considered vulnerable in Queensland due to habitat loss, competition for nesting sites, and food scarcity. On the right, we have the female. She has brownish-black feathers with yellow across the head and neck. And the one who's just climbed up here is the male. He's mostly black and lacks the yellow markings. Both males and females have bright red panels on their tails, with the females looking more orange. Glossy black cockatoos like to eat the seeds of casuarina trees. Thing is that they're very picky on which trees. So out of 100 casuarinas, there might only be 1 or 2 that the glossies will feed from. The reason for this selectivity is unknown, but researchers are investigating it to see if they can improve this species' food supply. The birds go crazy at this boardwalk section when the trees are in bloom. Not much happening here today, so let's jump to the next junction. At this junction, we can go either way to return to the car park. We're going to turn left, heading towards Rainforest Gully. And we've got a few visitors up here. Here we have a brown thornbill. Have a look at it while you can because they're very fast. Here's the white-throated Dirigini. You'll often hear their beautiful descending song that sounds like a cartoon fall-in sound. Next we have the nectar-loving brown honeyeater. They're not the most colourful of the honeyeaters, but they have one of the best songs. I'm not the best at identifying plants, but I think this might be a pink euodia, a fast-growing native rainforest tree. We're approaching the end of our Hinterland Regional Park walk. If you found the video interesting, be sure to give it a like. And if you'd like early access to upcoming videos and access to exclusive bird walks just for members, consider becoming a channel member. And don't forget to check out the video description for various goodies I've included. Okay, we've made it back to the starting point at the car park and picnic area. The end. Happy bird watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.